Have you ever noticed how your mind turns on you in the exact moment you need it to be stable, calm, and clear? Like the moment something truly matters, your brain suddenly becomes the enemy instead of the guide. You try to stay present, but your thoughts scatter. You try to be confident, but your chest tightens. You try to speak, act, move, but everything inside you freezes. And you're left wondering, why do I fall apart exactly when it matters the most? For years, you've probably blamed yourself. You've called it weakness, hesitation, or lack of discipline. But what if what's happening isn't failure at all? What if it's protection? What if the reason your mind collapses under pressure is because some older version of you still believes the world is dangerous? You're not broken. You're not dramatic. You're not overreacting. Your mind is just trying to keep you alive in the only way it learned. And this is where things start to make sense. Because whenever something matters deeply, an opportunity, a relationship, a risk, a dream, your body doesn't read it as hope, it reads it as threat. High stakes activate old memories, old fears, old disappointments. And suddenly, you're no longer reacting as the adult you are today. You're reacting as the child you once were. The one who learned that attention was unpredictable. The one who learned that being visible was unsafe. The one who learned that getting something wrong meant being punished, judged, or rejected. So now, the moment you try to step forward, your nervous system pulls you backward. Not because you don't want the moment, because some part of you learned it isn't safe. You feel it when your voice shakes in situations where other people sound confident. You feel it when your hands sweat before conversations that shouldn't make you nervous. You feel it when your mind goes blank in moments where you know exactly what you want to say. And no matter how much you try to push through, your body responds with a loud, invisible no. This is what psychologists call a mismatch between desire and capacity. You consciously want to move forward, but your nervous system hasn't caught up with your goals yet, and this is why your mind often turns against you at the worst possible time. Not because it hates you, but because it loves you so deeply that it would rather keep you small than risk losing you again. That's the hidden tragedy behind self-sabotage. It's not rebellion, it's protection. It's survival made visible. You may notice this even in everyday life. You sit down to work on something important, but your brain suddenly fogs. You plan to express something honest, but the words collapse. You're offered a chance you've always wanted, but fear floods your chest. These aren't random moments, they are patterns built from years of trying to keep yourself safe from disappointment. When things matter, your body remembers the pain that came with similar moments in the past, and to avoid repeating that pain, it shuts you down before anything can go wrong. But here's where it gets interesting. You might think the problem is fear of failure, and sometimes, yes, that's true, but often the real fear, the deeper fear, is success. Think about it. Success means change, it means responsibility, it means being seen, it means losing the familiar version of yourself, and even if that old version wasn't happy, at least it felt predictable, safe, known. So your mind hesitates, not because it doesn't want better things, but because better feels dangerous when all you've known is survival. You may even sabotage good things. Without realizing it, you distance from people who care about you, you delay opportunities that could help you, you talk yourself out of dreams you secretly crave. Not because you don't want them, because you're scared of who you have to become to hold them. Change requires identity shifts. And identity shifts require courage your nervous system wasn't trained to feel. But the most painful part is this: deep down, you know you're capable of so much more. You feel it in your bones. You see glimpses of your potential. You imagine the life you could have, the person you could become. And when you fail to live up to that, you blame yourself. You call yourself lazy, unmotivated, inconsistent. But you're not any of those things. You're scared. And scared people don't need discipline, they need safety. You freeze not because you're weak, but because no one taught you what safety feels like. You doubt yourself not because you're unsure, but because you were taught to second-guess your own voice. You hold yourself back not because you lack ability, but because you fear that becoming bigger means becoming unlovable. All these patterns make sense. When you trace them back to their roots, they are echoes, they are imprints, they are survival responses wearing the mask of hesitation. And yet, something inside you is changing, slowly, quietly. You're starting to see the patterns instead of drowning in them. You're starting to question the fear instead of obeying it. You're starting to realize that the life you want is not on the other side of perfection, it is on the other side of permission. Permission to try, permission to fail, permission to learn, permission to grow into someone your past never predicted. And maybe this is the moment where everything shifts. Not because the fear goes away, but because you stop letting it choose for you. You breathe, you pause, you step forward a little at a time, not dramatically, not perfectly, just honestly. And you begin rewriting the moments where your mind used to turn against you. You become the one who decides. Here's the truth: your mind isn't your enemy. It's a scared friend who has been trying to protect you using outdated methods. When you Understand that everything softens, everything becomes possible when you give yourself safety. Your mind gives you clarity. When you give yourself compassion, your mind gives you courage. When you give yourself room to grow, your mind gives you permission to live. And maybe this time, when something important comes into your life, your mind won't collapse under the weight of it. Maybe it will stand beside you. Maybe it will support you. Maybe it will finally believe you deserve everything you're reaching for. Because you do.